So I've been thinking a lot lately about this word called Seva, and it's a Sanskrit word meaning service. But when you get a little deeper to the root of what that word truly means and what it represents in Sanskrit it's much deeper than service. And it means having compassion and finding joy for helping others. And the first time that this word was really sparked in my mind, I was having this conversation with a friend from Germany. And then it came up again with a friend from Spain. And I've noticed pretty stark differences culturally between, every other culture, but European roots versus what we feel in the United States. And the word, it came up in the sense of taking care of our elderly parents or our elders, grandparents. I know many cultures around the world, they stay in the family. They live together for generations. Everybody takes care of themselves. Europeans, very similar. It's very family oriented. And those are rooted in just ancient history. In the United States, it just seems like we have some of that, but we also have this other option. And it's a product of the lives that we're all living. And it's not, in my opinion, a wrong option. This is a very personal, individual choice that each person needs to make. But in the United States, a lot of what we do with our aging is we push them away, we put them in a home, we provide with money what we think is seva or service to our aging. And many of us do not want to take on that responsibility of caring for our elders. The first time that I really felt what this word meant, I was living in Ecuador and managing a shamanic healing center where we would do ceremony. And there was many nights that I would co-facilitate ceremony. And ceremony is a place for people to go to do a lot of purging, emotional, physical, spiritual, cellular. It's a time to release. And so, for many, that is one of the hardest moments of their entire life, is to truly get to the core of what they want to release. And when I would co-facilitate these ceremonies, I would be for hours on end cleaning up purge and changing out buckets that had vomit in them and walking people to the restroom. And I've shared that before, and instantly people are like, man, you're touching and being around people who are puking on themselves, or there is vomit, and many people. And it was some of the most rewarding and highest honor of work I have ever done in my life. There was nothing that I felt so in my element and in humanity's element of what I believe we are here to do, serve one another through compassion and through finding joy in uplifting them and being there to help. And this also came up today. I have a neighbor who is 74 and has stage 4 cancer. He is bound to a wheelchair. It's spreading, and he has as long as he is choosing to have. Now, Western medicine has told him the time frame, but there's still a whole lot of soul left in him. His body is breaking down, but his spirit is very alive. And so I say, he will go and he will go according to nobody but his own plan. But this morning, he called me in need of water. And when I get a phone call from him, it's very rare. And so I rushed over there as quick as I could, walked into his house, grabbed water on the way in, found him right away, and he was having shortness of breath. Flash forward about 30 minutes, and there's an ambulance there taking him away. Now, his home is the home of somebody who is severely handicapped and has no support. This is a man with no family. He has a beautiful community now that has been built very recently, but he is somebody who has the most pure soul, and he is so optimistic. It is amazing walking past this man, and again, he is so full of life, and you feel it, and he's choosing not to be a victim and feel victimhood while he's battling end of life. He's choosing to enjoy each and every moment. We grow gratitude together all the time of how grateful he gets to sit out of front of his garage all day in his wheelchair and talk to the neighbors walking by. He's 2 blocks from the ocean. I don't think he has seen the ocean in many years, but he gets to breathe in that air and he sits in the sun. And this is all helping him stay alive. And when I walked into his home today, I have never walked into a home quite like this, that the strongest odors, things that I've never smelled before, sights I've never seen of 20 years of stuff, of accumulation. It was not hoarding. It was somebody who has very limited mobility and is trying, and he has soiled himself multiple times. And his bed, this is somebody who is battling cancer and has issues with his lungs, and his bed had mold all over it, and the walls just covered in film and spider webs in the room, no airflow, no circulation. And when my neighbor and myself, saw him get carted off to the ER today, there was nothing else. My schedule got magically cleared. Many of you know last night I finished my first 3-week workshop, and today my whole plan was to kick back and enjoy a day for me. And the universe had something very different in store for today. And from about 11 a.m. until about 6 p.m. in San Diego, my neighbor and I sprung into action, and we cleaned 20 years worth of accumulation and stuff. I'm not bringing this up to brag. Hopefully this is planting a lot of seeds out there. But we spent all day. I did more laundry than I've ever done. 20 years worth of unclean laundry. Vacuuming, dusting. His bed, we tried bleaching it. We ended up throwing it out, going on Craigslist. Found him a brand new plush. Just wow. He wasn't sleeping with bed sheets or blankets. It was just the bed. New pillows, brand new bedding. We rearranged his room. And in a few days, he'll return from the hospital. And granted, I think he's going to be really confused at first because we rearranged all the furniture. But we created flow. We gave him this gift. And never once during my time doing that today did I feel like this was work or this was a drag or this was a burden. It was Seva. And it's those moments that connects us to humanity. It's those moments that create community. And community, to me, is the most important thing that we should all be focusing on right now. Of loving our neighbors, loving ourselves, loving our family, loving each other and supporting each other and serving one another. Because today made it very clear to me that if I am ever in the position that my neighbor is in and battling that, I do not want to go through that alone. Nobody deserves to go through that alone. Nobody deserves to come home from a hospital to the filth that you left your home in that caused you to go to the hospital. And so it's time to let go of our judgments and all the bullshit that's dividing all of us and connect with each other and be here to serve one another and find the joy in the service with one another. So I know you got this. Hopefully if we're aligning, we're speaking the same language, and I thank you. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being somebody who springs into action. And if you want to tell me your story down below of what Seva means to you, or a time where you felt so in flow while you were in service and giving back, because that's our new currency of helping one another. There's enough to go around. So, wishing you all the most beautiful night. I'm wiped out. Very long day. A lot to process. I want to end this saying, yeah, I feel great. It's time to, it's like, man, I'm processing a lot. And each one of you, I just encourage you to take the time to process this too and think about what you would be doing in these situations. Talk to you soon.